6th edition Project Management Book of Knowledge. What are the changes that have been introduced in PMBOK 6th edition? How is it different from the PMBOK 5? So, let's get started. The topic of our discussion is going to be about everything that's there in the PMBOK in terms of the major changes that have happened within the PMBOK Book of Knowledge, which was introduced sometime in September 2017. We will also take a look at how overall the PMBOK body of knowledge, or Book of Knowledge, has evolved over time. When was it launched for the first time, and how has it evolved? A bit of history and a bit of a journey of the PMBOK is also going to be covered as part of this webinar. We will also take a look into the differences, some of the major differences between the 5th PMBOK edition and the 6th PMBOK edition, and we'll highlight a bit more about the 6th PMBOK edition. So, let's get started. We will start by jumping into the first topic, which is about understanding the PMBOK. The PMBOK, as many of you must already be aware, was released by the PMI. Now, PMI, which is the Project Management Institute, is a global institute. It is a non-profit organization, and it offers various certifications. The Project Management Book of Knowledge was released by the PMI, and PMBOK actually helps in preparing for these certifications like PMP. Not only that, PMBOK is also regarded as the Bible of project management because it contains lots of important information that any project manager can refer to. Therefore, if you really want to learn about the foundations of project management, you can certainly look up to the PMBOK. As I mentioned, most importantly, PMBOK is such a book of knowledge that it contains different processes, some of the best practices, various terminologies, and guidance. Some of the guidelines provided in the PMBOK are very useful practically when we go back and start applying some of the concepts, principles, and best practices mentioned in PMBOK. It actually helps us excel in managing projects effectively. Therefore, they say that PMBOK is the golden standard in project management. So, these are some of the highlights of the Project Management Book of Knowledge. Let us now understand a bit more about PMBOK. The PMBOK is nothing but a guide developed by practitioners like me and practitioners from all over the world who have been practicing project management for many years. They are all part of the PMI, and being PMI members and active participants, we always get an opportunity to participate in different surveys and various ways through which PMI engages practitioners. One of the ways through which PMI engages practitioners is through the Role Delineation Study, RDS. In the Role Delineation Study, PMI understands how the role of the project manager is changing over time, which actually helps PMI in making necessary changes to the PMBOK. There are various people who have been practicing project management for quite some time, and many of them are already PMP certified, PMI-ACP certified, or even whole program management certifications acquired through PMI. These subject matter experts are part of the PMI body, working in the area of PMBOK enhancement. Not only that, PMBOK is basically a flagship publication of the PMI. If you see the various publications of PMI, one of the most important ones referred to by many project managers and aspirants of various certifications like PMP, which is one of the most valued and popular certifications globally recognized, you need to know PMBOK. Therefore, one of the flagship publications of PMI is definitely the PMBOK. As I mentioned earlier, PMI is a non-profit organization that helps in putting together these guidelines and principles, which assist many project management professionals working in the field. As I mentioned to you about the RDS, which is nothing but the Role Delineation Study, this particular study is conducted every 5 to 7 years. This study provides a lot of insights to PMI in order to evolve the PMBOK. So, PMBOK evolves every 5 to 7 years, and we will take a look into its evolution in the next section. Now, if you take a look at the number of editions launched earlier and the latest edition, the PMBOK was first introduced in 1996. From there, the journey of PMBOK started, and in September 2017, the 6th edition was introduced. If you look at the timeline from 1996 to 2017, various surveys and studies were conducted by engaging experts in project management across the globe. All these experts came together and PMI engaged them effectively for various studies and surveys, taking their inputs and insights, which have been instrumental in shaping the PMBOK. Information actually helps in the evolution of the PMBOK. So the third edition was introduced in 2004. The fourth edition was released in 2008. The fifth edition was released in 2013. And now, the latest one is from September 2017. So this is the journey of the PMBOK evolution from 1996 to 2017. There are various editions that were released, and now the one that is referred to is the sixth edition. I don't know how many of you are really aware, but there have also been a few recent changes made to the examination in March 2017. The new examination pattern of the PMP is based on the March 2017 changes. In fact, March 2018 changes, not 2017. So we can certainly refer to some of those changes that were implemented in March 2018 in the PMP examination because the new PMP exam is based on those changes. It also certainly refers to the latest PMBOK guide, which is the 6th edition. So that was a bit of history, a bit of background, and most importantly, an overview of the evolution of the PMBOK. Now let's also take a look at how the PMBOK 5th edition and the PMBOK 6th edition can be compared. If you put them together, you would certainly find a lot of enhancements that were made. In fact, I must say that the PMBOK 6th edition is one of the editions that actually contains a lot of changes. Even if you look at the number of pages, the 5th edition had 616 pages. But now, the total number of pages has been enhanced and increased to 978. This, of course, includes the Agile Practice Guide as well. Since there is a lot of focus on Agile in the market, and companies are preferring Agile ways of working, PMI has definitely taken notice of this. This insight also came from a lot of practitioners, which is appreciated, and changes have been incorporated into the 6th edition. Not only that, but PMI has also released a separate Agile Practice Guide, which is around 186 pages. So putting that together, the total number of pages in the 6th edition is now 978. I'm sure this will give you an idea about the kind of changes that have been made in the 6th edition. So definitely, we can say that this is one of the major editions in terms of both the number and type of changes made. Now, let's look at some of the statistics and specifics. In the PMBOK 5th edition, there were 47 processes altogether. As part of the enhancement, 2 more processes have been added, bringing the total to 49 processes. However, 1 process has also been deleted. We will look at some of these specific changes, but to mention a few quickly. For example, Manage Project Knowledge has been added. Implementing risk responses is another newly added process. We will explore more changes in the PMBOK 6th edition. Another important change you will find is in the number of chapters. There are now only 10 chapters, but there is a lot more focus added, especially on the role of the project manager. The role of the project manager has been added as a separate chapter altogether in the PMBOK 6th edition, which is definitely very useful. We will also talk about another important aspect, which is the PMI Talent Triangle. This provides insights into the importance of being aware and developed as a project manager in areas such as business, technology, and leadership. We will also touch upon that as one of the important changes in the PMBOK 6th edition. Moving to another important change, the naming of processes. Some processes have been renamed. For example, Acquire Project Team is now called Acquire Resources. One of the reasons for this change is that it's not just about people in the team. When we talk about resources, there are many other resources that need to be acquired as well. It could be machineries. It could be different licenses that are required to run the project, etc. So now the book talks about acquiring the other resources apart from, of course, people. Control communication has now become monitor communication because it's about continuous monitoring, which is required. Once you have the communication plans in place, control risk now becomes monitor risks. So we need to, on a regular basis, go on monitoring the risk. Once we have a risk register prepared, it's important for us to continuously monitor risks. Control stakeholder engagement now becomes monitor stakeholder engagement. Again, the same principle is applicable here. Once we identify stakeholders and create the list of stakeholders, and there is a crisp stakeholder strategy, once we have that in place, it's important for us to go on monitoring that. Develop project team now becomes develop team. Now, when we talk about developing a team, it's definitely beyond just the project team because we keep on interacting with a lot of teams beyond the project team. Just as manage project team has now become manage team, our focus is there from the overall team management point of view. Perform quality assurance has now become manage quality. Now, we talk about managing the overall quality of the outcome, product, service, or result that we are producing. Plan human resource management has now become plan resource management. As I mentioned, when we talk about resources on the project, it's not just about human resources. It's also about the other resources that we use on the project. It could be the machineries, it could be the other licenses that are required, or even the hardware and software that are required. So all that put together becomes the list of resources that are required on the project. All of those need to be a part of your resource management plan. These are some of the specific changes in terms of the processes. Since there have been changes in the number of processes, you will find that these particular processes have now been renamed accordingly. Plan stakeholder management has now become stakeholder engagement because we are talking about engaging the stakeholders effectively. Once we have a stakeholder list in place, how can we come up with a response strategy to the stakeholders? We can move them from one level to another based on the kind of engagement we have on the project. Moving from there, let's also take a look at some more changes in terms of movements within the processes. One of the processes that has been moved from project time management, earlier called time management in the 5th edition, is now regarded as project resource management. The new name for time management is schedule management, but this particular process has been completely moved from project time management to project resource management. So when it comes to estimating activity resources, it's now going to be done as part of resource management because separate attention and focus are being given to managing the related activities and estimating the time required for them. This is another important change that's been made. Let's move to the next topic now, understanding what's new from only the PMBOK 6th edition point of view. Let's take a look at that from the new edition's point of view. There are certainly a few new additions that have been made in terms of processes. These processes are now included here. As I mentioned earlier, the process like control resources is now there as a new process under the project resource management knowledge area, which of course fits into the monitoring and controlling process group. Apart from that, implement risk response is now a part of the project risk management under the executing process groups. Manage project knowledge is now newly added as part of project integration management, which is definitely a part of the executing process groups. So these are the 3 processes that have been added completely new as part of the 6th edition. It definitely makes a lot of sense, as you would recognize and appreciate, in terms of why some of these processes have been added as part of these knowledge areas. As I mentioned earlier, one example of the process which is deleted, and that process is close procurement. And why does it make sense? If you really take a look, a project manager is not heavily involved in closing procurement because most of these activities are done by the procurement manager or the legal team. These responsibilities have come very clearly from all the experts as well. If you're working in an organization, I'm sure you'll also support this change clearly because, when you look at closing procurement, the activities related to closing contracts and agreements with various vendors, etc., are largely managed independently by the procurement team and the legal and compliance teams. Hence, now, we only need to get involved when initiating the closure. The rest of the activities are done by the procurement team itself. Therefore, close procurement is now deleted from the 6th edition of the PMBOK. That's another major change in terms of the addition of new processes. If you see the addition of a new chapter altogether, as I mentioned earlier, the role of the project manager is a new chapter introduced by the PMI in the PMBOK 6th edition. As I was mentioning about this PMI talent triangle, there are three different aspects of the triangle covered in this chapter: business aspects under strategic business and management, which makes a lot of sense. As a project manager, we need to understand the business aspects as well, which will give you a lot of insights into how the business case was initiated and the context behind the project. Technical and project management knowledge is crucial for any project manager, whether it's a software project, construction project, or research and development project. Having technical knowledge certainly gives you an edge over others. And of course, project management knowledge is a must-have. Leadership certainly adds a lot of value because whether people are reporting to you or it's a completely matrix structure, it doesn't really matter. You need to drive things by engaging all the stakeholders, and for that, you need leadership skills. Leadership skills definitely become one of the important aspects of the PMI talent triangle. Continuing with the new additions, there are a few changes made from a tools and techniques point of view as well. In the tools and techniques section, you'll find that there are around 132 recent techniques in this edition. What's done differently is that they have grouped some of these tools and techniques together under areas like communication or data analysis or decision-making, which is a kind of logical grouping of these tools and techniques. This makes a lot of sense when referring to the PMBOK, as it helps in relating these tools and techniques to the respective groups. So overall, there are 132 tools and techniques under these various groups. These groups are mentioned on the slide as well. Apart from that, there have been changes made from the Agile point of view. The introduction to Agile was done to cover various aspects related to Agile ways of working, with a focus on the addition of Agile and adaptive environments under each knowledge area. For example, in communications management, risk management, schedule management, etc., specific Agile aspects are covered, including tools, techniques, inputs, and other perspectives. Some of the Agile ways of working and techniques have been specifically highlighted and covered as part of the 6th edition. Iterative, adaptive, and hybrid environments. There is a separate section altogether under Appendix, which talks about the iterative ways of working, adaptive ways of doing the planning, etc., and a separate practice guide, as I mentioned earlier as well. This 186-page separate practice guide is also introduced. Another important point here to note is that this Agile practice guide is also very useful when you are appearing for the PMIACP examination. So if you are into Agile and have relevant experience, and if you are aspiring to become the PMIACP, which is a certified Agile practitioner, the Agile practice guide will be very useful. Now, continuing from there, let's also take a look at the small changes in terms of the notations, like ongoing processes, non-ongoing processes. This is one of the small changes in terms of the notations that have been made. Another good thing is that PMI has really taken into consideration some changes in making the PMBOK 6th edition available in various languages. As you can see on the screen, there are various languages into which the PMI 6th edition is now available, which is definitely a welcome change.